Let's do this. This is the most common rhythm changes, chromatic bass line. And then with the chords. And then. B section. This gets you into playing leads. Walking bass. 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 So I started off with that walking bass line, but I had to go down to my higher strings, and I kind of kept that idea of walking bass. Good exercise. Hey folks, welcome to today's Patreon live chat. Let's get started. So again, shell voicings, you want to have the third and the seventh included in the root, or you could even omit the root often. But for guitar players, we usually go back to Freddie Green style of playing chords. So whether it's the 12-bar blues to rhythm changes, actually the rhythm changes is probably the study I would recommend the most for these type of voicings, doing this. And then B section. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just kind of by rote. And then of course the 12-bar blues, just. This is just kind of in that Freddie Green style. Add some subs. 1, 6, 2, 5, top. And you can add in 4 notes. 3-note voicings are a great place to start. And then of course in gypsy jazz, going into minor swing, 3-note voicings. So again, those to me are what I would call 3-note voicings. You can call them shell voicings, but I'm usually calling them 3 notes. And again, so check out my worksheets where I'm saying 3-note, again, 3. But check out my walking bass line studies. It's under the comping studies where we take like I demonstrate a G, actually 1, 6, 2, 5. 6, 2, 5. And I learned this all from Joe Pass. So from listening and watching his videos when I was, back in my high school time, I was like, ooh, I love that walking bass line. This. Again, the 1, 6, 2, 5 progression is where I would start. So the idea of it is, here's this really quick, a little mini lesson here. Say, lead into it chromatically from either above it or below it. So again, if you have a G 1, 6, 2, 5 like this, you can go from below it, and I'm gonna just only go below. So I'm gonna start on G, and then D sharp to E, G sharp to A, C sharp to D. I'm kind of being strict with that. Changes. So check it out with 1, 6, 2, 5. Rhythm changes. That's what people call rhythm changes. Go. So again, I'm in B flat, but I'm going like this. And I'm doing dominant chords to make it bluesy. And then here's a 2, 5. 2 to the 4. So again, I'm just mapping out my bass line. And then at the B section, I would do this usually. I go this little pattern. And then let's do this. This is the most common rhythm changes, chromatic bass line. And then with the chords. And then. again, that's the that's actually what's common to go 1 sharp 1, and that's already written on all my rhythm changes chord studies. But if you want to again fancy it up, that sometimes you don't want that. So it depends on how busy you want it to be. So yeah, that's a great question. Having a bass line. So if you guys are interested in walking bass lines, please do check out my studies, especially for rhythm changes. Rhythm changes, once you know, well, rhythm changes is 165 essentially, but then there's some alternate chord changes too that you can add in. Bass lines in general is to, at least when you have a chord change every 2 beats, or in general, you want to go into the note, the chord that you're going to arrive to, a half step above or a half step below. If you have a song like Autumn Leaves, though, just to give you a quick demonstration, it's a full measure per chord. So that's where I'm usually using a scale. And this is all demonstrated on Patreon, but I'm doing this. So there I'm going scales. Maybe a little bit of the half step neighbor tone, same chord, and you toggle back and forth, half step above or below. Bass players do that all the time. They don't always need to be walking or arpeggiating. So there I went do, 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 and then do, do, do. Kind of like we're doing this, but we're doing it with a bass. And then maybe a scale. This gets you into playing leads. Walking bass. 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 So I started off playing, but I had to go down to my higher strings, and I kind of kept that idea of walking bass. Good exercise. I'm just keeping that quarter note like the bass player is going boom, 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 boom. Connecting those roots. In that case, I was connecting the roots. If you wanted to get fancy, then you'd start to think about what's the third of the chord, you know? But then we have songs like Fly Me to the Moon. And again, I'm just kind of pretending I'm a bass player up in the higher range, so it's a melodic, and I love that approach, thinking like I'm walking a bass line, but I'm up on the high end. Again, usually I'm targeting roots, but you could target thirds, you could target fifths, whatever.